Hello and welcome to Stretford. Paddock, my name is Joe and this is Off the Bar, brought to you by Green King Sport. I'm joined by Jay Motti. How are you?
I'm alright, bro. Yeah, I'm good.
And Stephen Howson. How are you? You're looking quite festive today, Steve. A Christmassy, sort of sweatery, red and kind of checkered-y little Christmas piece.
Not Christmassy, is it?
It's a bit Christmassy.
Are you a Christmas person? Do you get involved? Like, I can't recall whether we've spoke about this over Christmas. I've known you for a little while, but do you embrace Christmas, or are you a bit like Scrooge before he became a Christmas fan? Are you bothered by it, Christmas?
I think you know the answer, Jay.
No, but you've got kids, haven't you? So sometimes by default you're like, okay, I'm going to get involved.
Get a little Christmas
Okay.
in. You've got some of a sort of young Santa Claus look to you. Do you know what I mean? If there was like an amateur dramatic version of young Santa Claus being done at like, you know, with
It's man, he's done well, because I think it's like an insult and a compliment at the same time.
It's not an insult.
No, it's a straight insult.
It's not an insult, is it?
You've got,
but
what do you associate with Father Christmas as an appearance?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. The most thoughtful and generous man on earth.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
appearance-wise.
thinking of, Joe. Listen, right? Between us, we've got the whole year locked off on nativity.
So,
I do Christmas, you do Easter.
I do Easter.
What's he do?
See, that's what I mean. Are you telling me the people were my colour in them days?
All right, what are you then in the nativity?
I'll be
Wait,
Mary.
Was Jesus not a blue-eyed fella? No.
We're going to be talking about Onana. We're going to be talking about Gabby Agbonlahor as well. We've got something very interesting.
Was it on
an
this
inside
podcast
Yes.
that I
Yeah.
texted?
Yes.
I think last week Steve messaged Nemanja Vidic, and let's just say, you know, we might have had a message back. We'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
But let's start with this Onana stuff, because undoubtedly he had a stinker last night, didn't he? He had a shocking game against Galatasaray. Not his first shocking game of the season. We saw mistakes, especially in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. We saw him against Galatasaray, wasn't it? At home, messing things up, getting Casemiro sent off. It's been a bit of a disaster for him, this Champions League group stage. What do you make of him? And what do you think this is going to be sort of going forward? Do you expect him to turn it around, or do you think this might just be too much for him?
I still have faith that he can turn it around. I'm not 100% sure it will happen, but I think he can, because this is a keeper who last season was phenomenal for Inter. Did very well in the Champions League, including in the final against Manchester City. We've seen in the Premier League what he's capable of. I think he's been much better in the Premier League, much more improved. For some reason, in the Champions League, he just keeps making these mistakes. And it's a shame, because after the Copenhagen game at Old Trafford, where he made that last-minute save for that penalty, which kept us in the competition, you thought, right, this is it now. This could be the catalyst for him.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Domestically, that has been like brrr since.
But unfortunately, in the Champions League, I don't know what happens. He just seems to lose his head or something. Because some of those goals...
Was he at fault for anything in Copenhagen?
Copenhagen...
No, I don't think
so.
so.
Not really. The
Well,
others...
the thing is, we conceded 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't... I can't remember.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We conceded 11.
Yeah, we scored 13, conceded 11 or something stupid.
9.
Scored
Conceded 9. No, scored 9.
Away from home.
Away from, yeah. In Seoul, sorry, I meant in Seoul. But the Bayern Munich one, mistake, okay. The Galatasaray at home, he was shocking, and last night he was had a bit of a stinker. And it's weird, because some of those shots, I think it was for the second one, if he'd just stood there, he probably just caught it or just kicked it away. I don't know what's going on with him, but I've not given up on him yet.
What's happened with that being too close to the wall thing?
What, the Galatasaray players?
Yeah, well, apparently that doesn't, is that not counting
Well, they're
anymore?
supposed to be a metre away, aren't they? But I think in football, a metre, people talk about, he's 10 yards offside, when really he was 1 yard offside. Yeah. So I think the idea of a metre becomes like, as long as you're not touching them, you're probably a metre away. But a metre is that. A metre is that. Like that's a full step away from someone. They never enforce those sorts of things when they should.
I kind of feel for Onana though, because I feel like there's a bit of an agenda anyway, where
the De Gea stands
are
right
like
behind the wall.
We never should have got rid of De Gea. So any opportunity they get, and I'm not saying Onana didn't have a bad game, because he did, but it's all this thing like, we should never have got rid of De Gea.
I don't think he had a bad game. I think he had a bad moment.
Yeah,
and one of them as well. I don't think it was 2.
So you say the second goal will take it, because that's...
He's fucking thrown it in.
Yeah.
Also, Anthony Martial, if he does that, gets his fucking napper on it.
Yeah, that was weird. Did you see that? The replay of it, with the emphasis on the fact that Martial kind of not necessarily moves out the way of it, but it looked like he could have headed it if he wanted to, and then last minute sort of moves his head out the way, or realises he can't get it, or whatever. Yeah. So essentially, Onana's reacting from basically where the ball's on the 6-yard line, I think is roughly where Martial is, maybe slightly further out. But that's when Onana starts to move because he's thinking Martial's going to head this away, and he doesn't. There's no great angle that completely determines whether Martial could have headed it or not, but it certainly looks like he could have, doesn't it?
Well, either way, your job as the front man in that line is to clear that.
Yeah.
Clear the ball as it comes in that area.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job, as Raheem would say.
Well, this is
and then from there, obviously, Onana literally chucks it.
Literally throws it in his fucking net.
You've seen it all today and last night, like people saying, "Oh, De Gea." We sat here for the Sevilla game, and for one of the few times ever watching Manchester United when we conceded, I laughed at the third goal that we conceded in Sevilla because it was so comical. I couldn't help myself. It was ridiculous. And we saw it in the FA Cup final. We saw it in the... I don't want to start laying into De Gea, but we saw it a lot last season. We saw it over the years. Big games, the semi-final against Chelsea, the Champions League. I think the game against Atletico at home, I don't think he covered himself in glory where he was out of his goal. He came running out and was in no man's land. So we've seen it. It was time to move on. There's a reason no one's come in for him. Even if you don't rate Onana, I don't think De Gea is the option. It's not like those are the only 2 goalkeepers on the planet we could have got. We could have spent 40-odd million on a different keeper.
Yeah.
So... forget about De Gea. He's not coming back. He's gone. The question is whether you get behind Onana, and I personally do. I think he's early doors for a Manchester United goalkeeper. As Gary Neville said, it's probably the most pressurised job in football. Let's get behind the kid.
It's hard to find top-class keepers, as we know as United fans. The spell between Schmeichel and Van der Sar was difficult and a decade long almost. Like, what was it, 8 years?
Yeah.
It took us.
We had like an occasional... Bartes had one good season.
Yeah, Howard
Tim
was
had
alright for a
one
bit.
good
Foster
season.
was alright
Carroll
for a
had
bit.
half a season.
Carroll had
Yeah,
like a match against Wigan once.
But that was...
the Arsenal game as well.
Yeah.
The Arsenal semi-final for Carroll, wasn't it, that save?
That was the best manager of all time, with one of the best teams of all time, and we still couldn't quite make it work. Like, you look at the great Premier League keepers, there's about 7 of them. There's not dozens and dozens the way there are.
Question is, I agree with you,
It's
Joe.
difficult to find someone.
The question is, how long do you stick with him who keeps making a mistake before you twist, before
You're
you go?
talking like he's making a shitload. I don't think he
Okay,
is.
fair enough. Well,
Like he's top
question.
of the saves.
In the
And
league.
he's literally saving nearly 10% more than what De Gea averaged for the last 5 years. De Gea's been down around about 69-70% for the last 5 years. The only time that I could find, and I only went back about 8 years, the only time that I could
that's
find
all right.
was in the 17-18 season. De Gea had an 81% save percentage.
So you're not.
And what's Onana, sorry?
78.8.
Right.
So you're looking at the point of it. It's more a couple of bad moments rather than he's out of form or he's.
What it is the number of goals we conceded is because the number of shots we are conceding. Meat feeds the sausage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that as a phrase. Never heard that before. But I saw a stat that sort of backs that up where I think Onana had made the most saves in the Premier League this season. That is mental.
It's only Sheffield United made more.
Sheffield United, okay. So he's like, what? Like we're what, 6th in the league? We're
Last
one of the
year,
better teams in the league.
2.6. This year, Onana 3.92.
Saves per game.
Right.
Like, obviously, these mistakes shouldn't come regardless of how many saves you're having to make. But it is a good point that United are conceding too many shots. And the fact that he's still managing to save more than anyone, have a better save percentage than most keepers, I think he was like 3rd in the league, is obviously a good sign. And these mistakes that he's making, to me, they're not mistakes that have got him to where he is in his career. These are uncharacteristic mistakes, largely.
That's
like
another
throwing it
thing
in
that
your own
annoys
goal.
me. It's like this rewriting of history of people
Yeah.
saying he's always been like this. Well, no, he
Yeah,
hasn't.
no
always been like
keeper
that.
is in the Champions League final, unless there's loads of injuries like Karius or whatever, who is routinely making the sort of errors we've seen from Onana in the Champions League this season. He wouldn't be here. He'd be in League Two. If that's what he was like, if the Champions League Onana was just Onana, and this is what he's always been like, he would not be at the top level. So this is clearly uncharacteristic. The only hope is it needs to go back to being uncharacteristic because it's getting a bit characteristic at the minute. But if it does, like you said,
It's also too much trade.
what we're seeing in the keeper in the Premier League is great.
Liverpool had 8 fucking shots last year, and we conceded 7.
Yeah.
Galatasaray had 8 last night.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I do. My only worry, and it's a similar thing with like when Højlund's not scoring in the league. I don't want it to become a thing where everyone's on him and it gets in his head. Because the media revel in this. And
Yeah,
we've
a
seen
little bit.
it today. Pundits, call them pundits loosely. Oh, I told you about Onana. Onana this, Onana that. Oh, he's always been rubbish. Well, he hasn't. Oh, he's been terrible every game for United. No, he hasn't. Like, they just, it becomes like this sort of tidal wave of drivel.
But for last
and that's
night,
what I
he could
worry
have been player of the
about.
month this month.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
fantastic against City. That couple of world class
That
saves.
save for Haaland.
He's had big saves every
cheered that
game,
like it was a goal.
including last night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because that gets forgotten because of the nature of the mistakes.
Yeah, and also he's the type of character that people like to mock. Like he's had this thing with the Cameroon FA or whatever they're called about he didn't want to play that style, so he left, and he's got a history of he had the drugs thing, and he's got things that people like to mock and ridicule, and obviously he played for United, so that doubles and triples and quadruples that. But he's a bit of an easy target, and I think that mostly he's done all right. It has to not become the routine. That's the thing, because sometimes players are fantastic for other clubs, and then for whatever reason, just start doing this and never stop. And a season, I'd give everyone a season, because you can't judge it any signing after a season. There's been too many that have been amazing and then been shit.
No, do you know what, Steve? I'm not going to argue with you. My point, my worry is
Champions League spots
is these mistakes
can
be amplified. It can be the thing that people feel.
And it was probably 5 or 6 moments that he was better than that mistake.
Yeah,
it was one bad mistake, but then I think as you were sort of introducing it, I was thinking like he's costing. I'm like, yeah, well that's what happens when you play on your own without any other teammates, because that's the way he was phrasing it. It was like he's cost us this. There's fucking 11 of them on the pitch last night.
There is,
and Bruno's given away a foul on the edge of the box after sprinting back 70 yards, probably out of frustration because no one else has done it. But sort your shit out. Stop giving away stupid free kicks. We're 2-0 up. We're flying. How about drop him as he's crossing the halfway line, not in shooting distance. Yeah. If you're that frustrated, boot him on the halfway line, take the yellow, and we'll go reset. Right? Play with your fucking head. He gives away the second one, but he also stands in the wall, lets 2 Galatasaray players in between our wall who get the fuck out of the way, and that's where they score from. You can see Onana's gambled that it's going to go over the top of the wall like a Beckham-style one. Yeah. And then as he's spotted it's coming through the middle, he's gone, oh shit, and then he ends up on his arse, looking a bit stupid because it's gone somewhere you probably should have saved it. If you'd have dived, it wouldn't have looked as bad. But because he kind of clocked it, why is Bruno not closing the distance? Why is the referee letting him inside our wall? Like, there's all sorts of other things where people just want to go, Onana's shit, fuck off.
Yeah.
The second one, yes, he's ended up throwing it in, but is it because Martial should have headed it, and he sees it quarter of a second after, and he's like, "Oh shit, he's not got," and then he's palmed at it and threw it in the net. Like,
I think there's an element of truth to all that. I think you can go. Bruno should do better. Martial should do better. Onana should do better.
I saw someone trying to blame the third on Manu.
What? Fuck off.
Blame them.
Fuck off. And
I was like, well, it's his man. But what does Manu do wrong, really? Because he's with him. It's not like he watches him and he's outside the box going, "Oh shit, that's my man." Yeah. Like, he literally puts a foot in to block it. The guy's just fucking twatted it in.
Nah, man, not having that.
Near post as well. You can't always cover near and far post.
I won't even have any Kobe Manu criticism.
Do you know what, actually? It's a funny one. Rio used to say this, and I doubt that this conversation's happened with Onana and Manu, but it was an interesting point, is Rio said, I'm going to show front post every time. He goes, because strikers are looking for a gap, yeah? He goes, you be in that gap, and if it comes back through me, that's on me, and I'll block it. But I'm going to give him a window. Yeah. And make him think he's got it. You just make sure you're there. And that's what Rio and Van der Sar used to do. That's what
so he would let him have that shot near post that we saw him score from yesterday.
Yeah, but they would have had that word beforehand. So Onana would have gone, I've got to cover the near post. And Manu's going to cover the back.
When did they ever get a clean sheet? When did that ever pay off for United?
That was like 21 games on the bounce.
Exactly.
What was the record?
14. 14 in the league, yeah.
21 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
Anyone could do that.
Exactly. I mean, that's not an achievement. Pathetic. Listen, still back him. It annoys me that some of the criticism of OTT, I think you can say, look, he's made mistakes. You knew it was coming. And
I'm disappointed in United fans with the amount of United fans that are giving it him as well. Like, fuck me, man.
Give him a chance, man. He's been here, 3-4 months?
The mistake that Maguire made before that, or after that, at some point anyway, where he fucking plays it into him as he's being pressed, was worse than anything that Onana did in the game, but it didn't lead to a goal.
Also, as well, in Copenhagen, he wasn't else. Was it Wan-Bissaka who levers the ball at him at waist height, and he goes out for the corner, and people going, Onana. I'm like, what do you expect him to do with that? Do you know what I mean? Come on, like, you got to give the kid a bit of,
here's the problem.
Leeway.
United had the game in our hands in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And whether it was deliberate from Marcus or not is irrelevant. We shit the bed and weren't able to lock the game down. Twice in that game against Galatasaray, we had a 2-goal lead and weren't able to lock that game down. And that is not acceptable.
No. I think for me as well, the most annoying thing is I think we should have got a fourth. last night.
Well, McTominay had a chance.
McTominay had a chance.
Like,
Pellistri kept getting in good positions. I think he
Who
lost.
else had a chance?
He
Bruno
lost
at the
his
post.
Bruno at the post. Like it was there. It was there for the taking where we could have and should have for me.
Yeah, and do you know what? People wouldn't have had the same reaction to Onana if we'd have won 4-3.
No, we wouldn't, and it's a shame because it's like kind of everything that could have gone wrong for him did.
For the 23-24 season, Off the Bar is sponsored by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game.
Green King Sport venues are showing every single televised Manchester United fixture. So instead of sitting at home and watching it on a dodgy stream, get down to a Green King Sport pub with your mates and get closer to the action.
And this season, Green King have launched the Green King Sport Instagram page, which is the home of fan content. There's deals, there's competitions, and they've already given away Champions League final tickets and signed shirts, so you don't want to miss out.
So go and drop them a follow on Instagram, and you won't just be the first to find out about all of these ridiculous prizes. You'll also be helping out Stretford Paddock as well.
Can we go out now, though?
What?
Because honestly, we're beaten by Munich at home.
Yeah, and hoping those two draw.
I think we will.
Can we just go out?
I think we'll go through.
I'd rather get the Europa
I think we'll go through.
No, you don't.
I do.
What, Copenhagen and Galatasaray draw?
Yeah.
That's just that game is a straight shootout. Whoever wins that goes through.
I think they'll draw.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because of that. Because they're both going to go for it.
Because they're both desperate.
I think it's one of them. I think this season's been so crazy. I can actually see us getting 7 points and qualifying.
And then beating Madrid in the next round.
Honestly, I can see it happening. I know it's like sounds good. I just honestly, you can.
What's the scenario for us to end up in Europa then?
So for us to end up in Europa, I think we have to win.
We have to win, don't we?
We have to win, and one of them two has to win.
Yeah.
So we'd be on 7 points. One of them would be on 8 points. The other one would be on 5 points.
Yeah.
So we'd be third. So if we beat Bayern Munich and either of them
There's
two
a win
win
in that game.
There's a win in that game. We're in Europa. If we beat Bayern Munich and they draw, we're through in the Champions League.
Oh.
But
when we draw with Bayern Munich, it don't matter.
No, it don't matter.
When we draw with Bayern Munich, we're out.
When we go goal behind by Munich and I leave the stadium in the 3rd minute, or I'm like watching the Galatasaray game on my phone,
Munich,
being that
which
guy.
I think is probably going to be how it goes down.
We could do.
We could do because they're through, and that's how it works sometimes.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
they drew
go,
last night.
Fuck it.
Did you see that they were on a 17-game winning streak at home in the group stages in the Champions League, and they lost it last night to Copenhagen because they're through. Maybe they'll let us win.
I'm telling you, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but we've just not had good performances in us, have we?
No.
We haven't got a rat in.
Ten Hag said that about. I was trying to find the quotes then, but he's on about us. We didn't defend well. And he's like, I'll make sure we defend better. We need to defend better. So he wasn't just obsessed with Onana either. He was on about the fact that we keep giving these leads away.
We give Everton 24 fucking shots. If you think this is all down to a goalkeeper, you're off your tits.
I know.
Yeah, that's
definitely not.
Yeah,
and it's mad, isn't it? Like when you watch like Neil Warnock teams or Sam Allardyce, maybe he's a bad example because he's gone.
Because no one's got a VHS anymore, Joe.
But let's imagine like a Neil Warnock team. They can defend a 2-0 lead. Yeah. They are hard to break down. It is just structure, positioning, repetition, and hard work that stops goals going in.
That's what they do in training.
Yeah. Also, there's
true.
There's something about the Champions League as well. Like you see this a lot in the Champions League.
It's just carnage, isn't it?
You do see like carnage,
because
both
teams are always going for
goals.
it. You have to go for it. In the Premier League, Everton don't mind losing a game because they know we're probably going to lose 15 games, 20 games this season. Whereas in the Champions League, like if we just go for this,
why are they fucking with the format? Honestly, for 20 odd years, you had the perfect format. The reason it's as big as it is because it made sense. And even fucking idiots got it.
Yeah.
City fans stuck a bit with the coefficients. But fuck me, everybody understands how it works. Now you're going to throw a spanner in the works, and it's going to be wild cards and cheerleaders and fucking drafts. What the fuck are we doing?
And also, have you seen, it's everyone's in one league, but you don't play everyone in that league. What is that? That's
what we call the Eastern Conference, Joe. What we fucking not be doing.
But I've never seen that in any competition.
I've just started trying to watch college football. The American thing, not real football.
Yeah.
They're all in the same thing.
Yeah.
But like, we can all be in a different fucking championship. I'm Pac-10, you're Big 12. What the fuck is going on?
I've never understood American sports. And I'm not
so they have like fucking 7 national champions. That's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's going to be like everyone's little flavour of like, oh yeah, you're in the of the Champions League.
Well, there's still pots. Apparently, there's still going to be pots of like you only play worse teams than you if you're in Group A or whatever. But then it's all on one big leaderboard and like the top.
You're going to be stood there or sat home watching United draw or winning, you're not going to know what that means.
Imagine the poor bastard.
You're going to go
who's in
like,
charge
is that even good?
Yeah.
Does that even help us?
The poor graphics guy who's in charge of live updating that league table when there's games on, by the way. In those first few weeks as well, when there's like 20 games going on at once, and you've got to like as it stands. Imagine doing the as it stands for that.
Jump on your phone and let us know the other 9 results going on.
Yeah.
So I can work out where we are.
And also all of the who's played who's and what that means for... Because also, at the minute, if teams are locked on points, it goes on head-to-head. But how can you do head-to-head if you haven't even played the other team? Like, how is that going to work?
Joe, the word that is rolling around my mind at the moment is carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation for this shit.
Yeah, someone was just absolutely gassed up when they came up with it. Dublin, we are coming to you on the 28th of December. Stretford Paddock Live is back at the Red Cow, and this time we are joined by the one, the only, Wes... I don't know, I'm doing like a boxing announcer. Wes Brown's going to be with us. How good's that?
Never mind Wes Brown being there, which is mint, by the way. We're also going to get all us three and Macca in the same room, which is a bit of a rarity. Plus, a little cameo from Uncle Webby. Woo! We love Uncle Webby's stories, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Anyone who watches The Brew
and I guarantee that we are 1,000,000% censored on The Brew, and I don't think the censor is coming with us.
Oh my God, it's going to be absolutely
probably going to be the last live event we do, to be honest with you.
The link to the tickets are in the description. Come down, check it out, enjoy it. We'll be out afterwards. You can see us, say hello to us, all of that good stuff. 28th of December in Dublin. Link in the description. I've got something else to bring up, actually. It's not on the list. Have you seen this, that we've got a date for when City are going to be facing trial?
Is it the end of the 24-25 season?
It is, yeah. Footballs. So this is obviously City 115 charges.
That's just because how long it takes the printer to print them off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we need. How many copies do we need?
We need to cut down another forest. Yeah, then we'll be able to.
Genuinely though, if everyone involved in this trial is like allowed to have a copy of all of the documents, that would take fucking
till autumn next year, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So this is it. Football's trial of the century has been penciled in for late next year. This is according to the Daily Mail. They understand that the Premier League and Man City have agreed a date at which they will face off in front of an independent panel in arguably the biggest hearing in the competition's history. I mean, they proper go through and. Long story short,
is it broadcast? Can we buy the rights?
Late autumn 2024. We should be live streaming the whole thing.
We should. I want to do a watch along with it. Get me one of those noses and the glasses, and I'll be in there. I'll get a press card in me out and everything.
Yes. It's like, by the time this all comes around, they'll have won another 2 titles. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be like, oh, we're going to take 2 titles off him. What, did they keep the other 6 that they won by cheating?
Doesn't matter. You get one taken off you.
Yeah.
And it's hashtag tainted titles.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we've finally got. I know it's not confirmed, but you would assume that information isn't completely made up. You'd hope anyway.
Yeah.
Assuming that that's true, it's good that we've finally got a date though, because it seemed like they've just been like, "Nah, we'll deal with that later." For a year already.
No, I think City's lawyers are so expensive and their shoes are so shiny that this has just took so fucking. I reckon, they've been so uncooperative, right? Everton were like, "Okay, we think we fucked up. Go through all our shit," and they've gone blah blah blah. There you go, 10 points.
Yeah.
When you're uncooperative, you got 28 days to reply to this. They reply on the 28th day.
Yeah.
Every single thing that they do is going to have been deliberately to drag this shit out and hoping that people pass away before they get to testify.
But isn't that why because they still faced a fine after the Court of Arbitration for Sport last time, didn't they, from UEFA? They still got that big fine.
They won 2-1 on that front as well. It wasn't a unanimous decision.
But that fine was because they were so difficult to work with, wasn't it? Partly. So it's like they've got form. We know that they do.
And also, they, like you said, all them lawyers, like Everton was like 30,000 documents. City could send 10 million documents, half of which are irrelevant.
Yeah, that's half the move. That's
and then
the move.
go, there you go, read all that. And you're
fucking
like,
deal with that shit.
We can't read all this. It's going to take 10 years.
It is just
that's your problem.
Human beings reading words at some point. It's not all like automated.
That's what I mean. So City could do that.
Sat reading fucking
just send you like all the receipts from the kiosk. What's this nonsense?
Premier League's got less staff than us, literally, they're such a small organisation because they just sell rights.
Yeah.
They're a right selling thing. So that independent panel, they're going to have to read all that bullshit. That's
going to be absolutely hell.
That's what I mean.
That's why it's taking until next year. Because you're right. They'll have printed off. Like, go and get Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what it'll be.
It's in one of the filing cabinets.
Yeah, just printing off things that's got nothing to do with anything. Get them programs from the 70s that we've got in that warehouse. Send them as well.
Reprint them.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is all this?
They would have just done all that. And because then, you're right, someone will lose their fucking mind and you're hoping for a bit of human error. Where someone just fucking miss a few. Yeah, I've done all that.
Then they can say, well, actually, you've got your numbers wrong there. So the whole thing, we need a retrial. The whole thing's out.
City
that's how law works.
Or City go, let's cut a deal.
I mean,
You haven't got time for this. Let's just do a deal.
Technicalities is how fucking Pep got off his drugs thing.
See what I mean? So,
and I can sit here very comfortable knowing I'm not getting sued by saying it's not because he didn't do it. It's because the way that they test for samples breaking down happened after the fact, and that you couldn't fucking test a sample of his age for instability. And actually, the instability gives a reading of like 0.1 or something, and he was like 1.2. So like it's so fucking irrelevant. But he got released and cleared on a technicality. So he's got form for it. They've got form for it. They're going to be difficult.
You got the job on a technicality.
But
legendary recommended.
That's the move. If there's one title taken off them, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as everyone watching this video is concerned, they fucking cheated for all of them. Yeah. And that's what you've just got to fucking say. You cheated.
They did, though.
Yeah, they did.
The Premier League think they did.
Yeah.
The charges don't come because someone doesn't think they did it. The charges come because they've looked and gone, we think they've done these 115 things.
In many ways as well, the worst thing that could have happened for City and the best thing that could happen for everyone else is Everton getting that points deducted.
Yeah.
Because, don't mean to cast aspersions on Evertonians or Scouts in general, they ain't going to take that line down. They ain't going to be like, well, all right, so what, City aren't getting punished that much? Yeah, that's okay.
The amount of pressure that's going to be going on during that trial as well.
You absolute shitbags. You won't be protesting outside fucking Premier League house today, all the way through to
that trial is going to be carnage on Twitter.
Yeah. So I've City accumulated somewhere in the region of 1,400 points since the takeover.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm not. Let me just add it up quick, Steve.
I think it's 13,973. Sorry,
it's actually 1,315.
Sorry, my bad.
115 charges.
Yeah.
10 points each.
Yeah.
Just call it 1,000.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Relegate them.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though?
To the Northern Prem.
That's what I mean. It'd have to be something like that. Because even if you did it to the Championship, you're just giving them one season off. Like, that's what I mean. They'll just get promoted and then they'll win the league the first time they get promoted.
Imagine they relegate him to the conference where one team gets promoted naturally. And you're like, for fuck's sake, if you're some decent team in the conference, like, Man City are in here with us.
Yeah, but
fuck
with
me.
what team?
Yeah, they're still going to have some of them, aren't they? If you're like, they'll still have like...
There'll be players that'll stick around. Listen, it's not
going
to happen. I don't think it'll
just
do that.
in the fucking ramp up to this absolute Wagger Christie 2.0 that's about to go off.
I can't wait for the hashtag. I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be something on whatever the independent panel.
Yeah.
So
title charge.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Then they get it with a drugs one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, mass doping.
Yeah. Oh. We can hope, can't we? We can hope.
I'll finish that.
We can dream. Yeah. I don't think it'll be much, but we can hope.
Just imagine though, all that pain of the last 10 years. Oh, mate.
Speaking of,
I'd take him just taking the 2012 title.
It'd be unbelievable.
That'd do me. If they just went right.
Is that on the docket?
I don't know. If they could, if it is, I think it might be. Yeah, I think it is.
That season.
If they went like that season,
they've only done like 4 seasons, by the way.
They've still got. It only goes up to 2018. Yeah. Like there's still the last 5 years for them to go through. That's where Solskjaer starts getting his. I think Jose would get one, and maybe Fergie would get one. Oh my god!
2012 wouldn't do me, seriously.
Am I petty enough to book a fucking open top bus? You fucking
Mancini.
It was Mancini, right? And I'm fucking
2012.
sitting on it with you.
Mancini's part of the whole thing, isn't it? So it must be that. It must be that.
Mancini. I think I'm paraphrasing this, so I could be wrong on this one. So just take this as speculation. But Mancini was kind of like, yeah, they paid me 2 contracts.
Yeah.
I think he's come out and said that.
Do you not remember when they won the domestic treble and they beat Watford in the final? And the first question that Pep got asked in his post-match presser was about illegal payments. And he was like, what? This is what you're asking me? We've just won the final. What was it, 6-0 or something? We've just won the treble, domestic treble.
So that's a yes then, because no is the answer if it's not.
Yeah, and he was fuming because that was what he was getting asked.
I mean, look, Pep's brother got bought a club.
How would you compete with that?
La Liga.
Yeah.
But like, just roll your head round that. Like, we've all seen enough gangster films where their mum owns, this casino now? Yeah. Like, really? Yeah. Come on, mate. Why were they so bad at cheating, though? You literally could have gone and bought Betfred or William Hill and paid that company to sponsor you real. Why would you make a company up?
I don't know.
It's bizarre, isn't it? It's just arrogance as well, isn't it? They probably thought they got away with it, to be fair. It's been 11 years.
Fucking damn kids.
12 years, yeah. Like, we're laughing. And then it's like the court of arbitrates, but yes, we got that result. Oh, the Premier League looking at us, give a shit. What are they going to do?
Yeah, oh shit.
They're probably not even asked now.
But even then, because they beat FFP, again, sort of on a technicality, because they were like, well, even though we believe the evidence, we don't allow the evidence to come from where you got it from. So therefore, you kind of get a fine rather than everything else. Whereas the Premier League went, we don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah. This is us. We are the arbitrator for sport. This is our league. You ain't nudging this down the road to UEFA. We deal with this and we fuck you up if we want to.
The fact that they announced this in the wake of the Court of Arbitration for Sport ruling where it was thrown out, essentially, sort of. The fact that the Premier League announced it then, and I've gone so fucking hard on Everton, and I've got this looming fucking spectre of the independent football regulator looking over their shoulder. Yeah. Come on, you bastards. What? Just fucking Northern Premier League it. I might die of laughter.
I know. Imagine.
And this week it's FC United against Manchester City.
Speaking of being relegated, Gabby Agbonlahor.
Nice.
High five.
We were chatting about him last week because he loves dissing Man United, doesn't he?
He loves just
whether
chatting.
It's Maguire, Bruno,
rubbish.
Onana, Ten Hag, generally. Anything to do with United. He absolutely loves dissing it. And recently he was dissing Nemanja Vidic.
Said he weren't all that. Which is contrary to what he'd already said when he said he was a top player a year ago.
Yeah, and he said, he's not anywhere near the top list of Premier League defenders, and then put him about 5th, which is quite near the top.
Exactly, so just pure contradictory drivel.
He'd sort of dissed him before he realised what he was doing, and then sort of kind of tried to backtrack. He's like, my default position is slag off every Man United player.
Yeah.
And then actually, no, he was really good, so I'll put him 5th. But just talk shit. So last week, Steve, as a joke on this podcast, you messaged Nemanja Vidic on Instagram and asked him if he remembered much about Gabby Agbonlahor.
I think it's safe to say, without going into details, that Nemanja Vidic ain't going to be losing any sleep over what Gabby Agbonlahor says.
He's a fucking legend.
He is a legend.
And I'm not going to break our trust by telling you word for word what he said. I will just say that I was walking to the shitter when I got the text, and it pops up Nemanja Vidic. You open it now, aren't you? You're not going to park that for a minute. No. And I think I made this noise when I read it. I sent it to you two. Yeah. Did you make the same noise?
Yeah.
I laughed for about 8 minutes and then showed it to everyone in my house.
And the best thing is, just so we don't make it sort of stitch Vidic up, he's not nasty at all.
No.
He doesn't criticise him. As a player, he doesn't say anything bad about him.
No.
And that's almost the beauty of it.
It is perfect. And all I'll say is, you can rest assured Nemanja Vidic isn't remotely bothered by anything Gabby Agbonlahor.
He didn't get his feelings hurt.
I think we can say that.
Yeah,
which is no surprise.
I just love that he replied to you.
I love that he replied.
You can get a text
the reply was
Vidic.
amazing as well. The whole scenario is amazing, and I can't believe this is even happening, but it was class. I love it. You wanted to talk about statues, didn't you?
Well, City have got him.
Yeah. Can I just say about this, right? Because City have got the Bell, Summerby and Lee statue, yeah?
What are they calling it?
The City Trinity. I don't know.
Well, seriously?
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of people were losing their minds about this because it's obviously very similar to
City are defined by everything United.
I know.
Because of course they are.
And also, you know what, right? I'll be honest, I haven't even got a problem with this because when I was a kid, that for me is what City were about. Players like Colin Bell and Mike Summerby and Francis Lee. I get it, they're players that are their club legends. And they probably should have put a statue up of them years ago, but they didn't because they were too busy making them crap statues that they've got of.
What, the fucking like disco ball ones?
Disco ball ones of silver.
Is it Company Silver?
Aguero. You got Aguero with his shirt off, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's like...
They honestly look like a plaster cast that someone's put broken disco ball on.
Statues aren't the one. So they've done this one of these other players, the older players and that, which I kind of get, but it does look a bit like copied United. But I think it just sort of highlights as well, because I think if you notice a lot of clubs that have these statues, and you think, if we were to do it like that at United, you'd have hundreds. You
wouldn't be able to get in. It would be like a ring of statues around Old Trafford that you like, we need stairs going over.
Who's Arsenal got? So they've got Tony Adams,
Henry,
which I'm cool with. Henry's a weird one for me because he might be their best ever Premier League player.
Yeah.
He might be their best ever player.
They've got Bergkamp, haven't they?
But you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's a weird... I can't work them... Is Parlour one? Or have I
No. I think it's Bergkamp. Can we have a little Google for us? I think it's Bergkamp, Henry. I think it's just the three.
That's weird. I can't...
I don't get the...
What's the threshold?
Have they not... I don't think they've got anyone like...
Isn't it mad that Dennis Law's got two, though?
Yeah.
The one at the front and then the sort of one...
Stretford end and one
It's literally in one block at the back of the top tier of Stretford.
Yeah.
It's inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
which is weird because most of them obviously they're out. You imagine
Fucking
being
king of the
outside.
Stretford end.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense that it's there, but it's odd seeing a statue indoors.
Here we go. Oh, right, so there's 5, sorry.
Five.
There's 5, so you've got Dennis Bergkamp, who we said. You've got Ken Fryer.
Oh yeah, Ken Fryer.
Yeah, nice one. Herbert Chapman,
Chapman,
who
fair
won
enough.
2 titles, I think, or whatever he won. Sonny
That's
Adams.
such a bad statue, by the way.
Henri.
Henri don't look fuck all like it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What's the threshold?
The Bergkamp one, I think, is weird.
The Bergkamp's the weirdest one there.
Why not
Henri, top scorer,
Why not
probably
Seaman?
maybe their best
Yeah.
ever player.
Yeah.
Tony Adams makes sense, captain, one of their best ever defenders,
Why not Ian Wright?
etc.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, they didn't score at one point.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
until
until
Henri took him
Henri
over.
broke.
So, like, what's the threshold?
I don't know.
Does seem a little bit
United's
weird.
makes. So who have United got? So we've got
Charlotte
Fergie.
Lauren Best.
Yeah,
Charlotte
well,
Lauren Best, Fergie Busby.
yeah.
Have you ever seen
Jimmy
Have
Murphy.
you ever seen Paul?
Where is that one now?
Jimmy Murphy's outside the Stretford end.
I haven't seen this. Where's this?
Like,
Jimmy Murphy's new.
yeah. So
About 6 months ago.
yeah, 6 months old.
Where?
So where the Stretford end, it's up, it's on the stadium. Do you know how like Fergie's stood on the stadium?
Yeah, it's like that.
It's like that, but on the Stretford
I've been going
end.
this season, not
No,
seen it.
no.
Like,
He went-
so
he went to
I'm
the Valley.
W15,
Yeah.
right? So where
Yeah.
the fuck is it compared to where I go in?
It's
Is it over the tunnel?
No.
it's not far off. Just
Oh, right,
come
'cause
round
I
from
come the
that.
other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not gone that way for.
So if you come over the bridge there at the corner, the
Yeah.
back corner, if you go left off of that, it's like up over your head there.
Right, okay.
That is right.
Not seen it.
That Jimmy Murphy's got a statue. He should have. We spoke about this. We all said if you're gonna have a statue of someone at United now before this one, it has to be Jimmy Murphy.
Give me that bottom one.
the most
there.
important
the one
person
right
at the club.
down below that there, yeah. I think that's my entrance.
Yeah.
How little attention
don't
are you
come in
paying
from
going
that
in?
side,
I
though,
come
do
from
you?
this way, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always like broadcast shit there.
Yeah. That's where the VAR truck is and all that, innit?
Yeah.
We should have got you out there saying, Steve, do you think there should be a statue of Jimmy Murphy? Yeah, there should be. It's about time they did one.
What, it's on my shoulder?
Yeah.
That's bad. I'm sorry. I apologise to everyone. I've not seen that. When
But-
the fuck did that get announced?
About 6 months ago. Me
Yeah,
and
you
Ethan
went-
went to the
he-
unveiling of
he
it
went
and
to
I
the unveiling.
cried twice. It was so emotional. There was poems. There was people talking about, obviously
When was this?
This was about 6 months ago.
Have I been in a fucking coma? What the
Pretty
fuck
much.
is going on?
I don't
Where was
know.
I? Get me the date of that.
Yeah,
Ethan.
find the exact date, Ethan.
It was
but
about
yeah,
6
we
months
went,
ago.
We filmed it.
Yeah. We've got about, we did a video on it.
We did a video on it.
Right.
I feel like I've just entered another realm.
You've
Yeah.
just woken up. This is
What
one
the
of those
fuck is
Mandela
going on?
effect things.
Yeah, it is. It's like, do you not remember that? Nope.
Yeah. It was. What's the name? Of the
I've been in the daylight this year as
There you
well.
go. 3rd of May.
3rd of May.
So what? That
Was I
is
on
6
holiday?
months
Was I on
ago.
holiday?
He might have been on holiday. But it was the what's his name? The poet. The
So Longfellow.
yeah.
Tony, what's the poet's name? Longfellow. Tony, the one that did This Is the Place.
Tony.
Yeah. Anyway, he was there. He did a poem that was absolutely sensational, and you should watch it if you haven't, because it sort of detailed.
Tony Walsh, thank
Tony
you.
Walsh
Yeah.
detailed the
Well,
time
that
and
makes
what-
sense,
yeah.
right? Jimmy Murphy should have had a statue for me when they put one up at Busby.
Yeah.
I think he's just as important as Sir Matt Busby, and I don't say that lightly, but it's good that the club have acknowledged it. We have got, obviously, the United Trinity, but Charlton, Best and Law. We've also got Sir Alex Ferguson. Who should be the next one then?
Well,
If we are going to go down the route of having more statues, if we did,
Yeah.
who would be the next one for you?
Well, our most recent sort of person at the club to have one is Bobby Charlton, in terms of who was employed by the club in their original role, the latest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, was that 1970? When did he retire? 1974. Like, do you know
Yes.
what I mean? So we've
As a
had
player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been 50 years
Since we've had a player
yeah.
who
Oh, Fergie. Sorry, I guess
represented-
is the most
Yeah,
recent.
no,
one.
like I
But as
know
a
what
player,
you're trying
it's
to
been
say.
50 years.
So we've
since-
not had anyone from the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah, that's
Also,
what I'm saying.
City was trying to justify theirs as well. Be like, our three won the Ballon d'Or together.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no question, is there? But what I'm saying is, we've got a long time to pick from here.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of it is quite fallow in terms of trophies.
I'm going to throw one out, 2 out from their era anyway.
Go on.
3.
Go on.
Hang on, there might be more. I think Johnny Carey requires one.
Okay.
I think Duncan Edwards requires one.
Yeah.
I think you can make a case for Styles. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say Bill Foulkes.
It's difficult to argue with any of them, if I'm being brutally honest with you.
It literally looked like a fucking crowd on its way in. If you did enough for
too
everyone.
many,
Yeah.
almost
Because
too many
how's
legends,
Cantona
isn't there?
going to not get one?
Cantona's got.
I was Wayne Rooney not get one.
Cantona's
Leading goal
gotta get
scorer.
one.
He's got to get one. How's
Rooney's gotta
Giggs,
get
Scholes, Neville, Beckham, and Nicky Butt not get one?
Yeah.
Well done.
But they've got to get one.
Nicely done.
You would assume they'd get one at some
I
point.
saw you did that.
But some of those are like United.
Keno's got to have one.
Yeah, Roy Keane, the
Like,
greatest
Robbo.
captain the club's ever seen. Robbo.
I know he's got
Yeah.
his mural, but it's not the same as a statue.
Yeah.
And that's inside
You
the
could
ground.
argue-
You're not arguing
Yeah.
with one of them, by the way.
No,
Not
you're
one of
not.
them is getting an argument with, right?
No.
Now, If you start going Phil Neville, John O'Shea, you go a little bit scouse. I get it. Great servants of the club, but like
you could maybe have Phil Neville on. You could have Phil Neville on the class.
You can't have a statue of Phil Neville at United. There's about 20 players in front of Phil Neville.
But if he's part of a class of '92 statue,
you may as well put Terry Cook on there then. He's in that
He's in that photograph.
Yeah, like I understand your point, but the class of '92 isn't a thing; it's a brand. And I don't think you can say right, Phil Neville.
But it is though.
Yeah,
he doesn't
and
deserve
a lot of the
statue,
statues
though.
are there for tourists
like,
and stuff. So
ahead of the likes of like you said, you can't have Phil Neville and not have Duncan
So how
Edwards,
would you
or
do?
not have
How would
Brian
you do?
Robson and not have Roy Keane and not have.
And then if you say it's
Erik
everyone with
Cantona.
like 500 appearances, what did De Gea finish on? Like 550?
Yeah.
Get his fucking statue
Yeah,
up.
Then
Do
would
know
you
what I mean?
have Giggs, Scholes, Neville
No.
as their own one, or you wouldn't have them at all?
I would. For me, I wouldn't have Nicky Butt because I think whilst I love Nicky Butt, he's a great player and fantastic servant to the club. I think there's far too many players ahead of Nicky Butt for him to warrant a statue.
Name 25.
25 ahead of Nicky Butt.
So would you?
right,
but then would you do them individually then?
I don't know that. Right, okay, yeah, we can do this. Right, Erik.
Yeah.
Bobby Charlton. Oh no, right. Discount the ones who've already got one then.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
I was joking.
Erik, Roy Keane, Brian Robson.
Almost in that order.
John Carey. I'd have Steve Bruce ahead of him. I'd also have Roger Byrne, Jeff Dennis Irwin, Mark Jones,
Wayne
Eddie
Rooney.
Coleman, Dennis Violet, Tommy Taylor,
Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. Yeah, to be honest, I don't like the guy, but yeah, you would have Peter Schmeichel, I would have Edwin van der Sar,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne
Would you have
Rooney.
one Van der Sar?
Yes.
He hit a peak when he was there. He wasn't there very long.
So genuinely then, if you can have one, who's
Joe,
the next
I
one?
genuinely think this is why we haven't got more than 3
I think
statues.
he's right.
I
I
agree.
think there's
Because
too
otherwise
many.
it looks like a fucking
Because also,
queue for the chip.
obviously, question marks off the pitch to one side. Ryan Giggs has made the most appearances for Man United, won more trophies at Man
How do you
United
justify
than
without
anyone.
making it a thing as well? If you put Nicky Butt there and not Ryan Giggs, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why?
Paul Scholes is maybe United's most talented academy
Yeah.
graduate, or one of them, certainly in the modern era.
Yeah.
Like Tom Heaton doesn't even exist, Christ.
Yeah, sorry.
How
But
dare
then
you,
obviously,
Tom
no,
Heat
but
one.
so but it does almost become impossible.
If I had one, I could have one player for me.
or one
Danny
statue,
Welbeck,
you can have one
obviously.
statue, you can have multiple people on
Danny
it.
Welbeck.
Imagine.
We already know.
Welbeck, come on. Welbeck doing his celebration.
Welbs.
Yes. Come on, Welbs, yeah. Just be
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
And it's the first,
That's all I'd say.
it's the first ever statue to be
Yeah.
on the pitch. Yeah, you got to pass around him because the fucking Welb stays on this
Give me
pitch.
your nominations for 3. And we'll do one each, but you're not allowed to have the same one. So we come up with 9 between us.
Okay. Can my first one be
go for it.
Keno?
Yeah.
Roy Keane. Can it
That
be
is
a
my
statue
genuine
with
first
more than
one.
one person on it?
You're going into technicalities now that I wasn't
It's a
prepared for.
statue. It's a single statue. I know you say it's a brand, but I do think the class of '92
I think he's right. I think it is a
represents the Sir Alex Ferguson era.
I
at
Still
Manchester
think
United.
you've got
Get
2
Robbie
players
Savage
on
on
there
there as well.
I think if you didn't have Nicky Butt and Phil Neville, I'd say the other 4 warrant it. I just feel that you've sort of got in by proxy. Because it's like you're part of this thing when
Yeah, but
there's
you
so
almost-
many
you are
players who
part
are
of
above
that,
them. But then you can say, all right, why not we have all the 8 people who died at Munich, all 8 of them as a statue?
Well, yeah, okay, you
Do you know
can.
what I mean? Like, I think that,
But
I
that- but
think
that's
you're getting
not-
into funny territory when you go, oh, because it's a thing and it's a brand and it's a I don't even know what you could call it. Then yeah, we put them in even though there's players that deserve it more.
But I don't see
think that's
another
fair.
way of getting Giggs, Scholes, and Neville in there. And I think just the
Well,
three
that's
of
why I
them
wouldn't.
is
I wouldn't
weird.
have them.
No, but I would.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I'm
I
saying
think
I
this
want
is-
them
I
all.
think
Genuinely think this is why we haven't.
Yeah.
Go on then, who
because
would you
the-
have? Because I'd have the lot of them. The lot of who's deemed the class of '92, even if it is slightly commercialised and slightly misremembered.
I think with what we've got there, I think Giggs has to be first ballot. If this is a public vote, if Ryan Giggs isn't in the first ballot, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And then after that, I think you can start arguing. I think Roy Keane is an excellent shout, and I think Brian Robson should be an excellent shout.
Yeah.
As an
Cantona.
Robbo comes before.
Who's your 3
Robbo
then?
comes before
Sorry.
Erik.
So you're saying you're 8. You're having 6.
He's having Robbie Savage and all that.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah. And who was the other? He was the one who was
Simon Davis,
Is it Ryan? What's his name? Is it Raphael Burke?
Rafi Burke.
Yeah. Sorry, right. So you're having the 6 from the class of '92.
Yes.
Right.
Plus Eric Harrison.
Plus Eric Harrison.
Plus Terry Harrison.
So Terry Cook's in there as well.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they're doing that pose.
Is that-
Imagine they rebuilt
is
that,
that picture?
pose
I
and
love
fucked
that.
Terry Cook off.
It's essentially-
Imagine how funny that would be.
It is
Go and get
essentially
him.
that picture
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a statue.
right.
Go get him.
Go get him and just take a photo of him and he
just stands at the back of it.
If I was Terry Cook, I'd just be doing that for tenors. I'll just stand there, you take a photo of me. Sound. Right, so you're the class of '92, you're having
I think Robbo. If you put Keane in, I'll put Robbo
Right,
in.
okay.
But Giggs has got to go in there.
Mhm.
But you'd have him individually rather than as a part of a class of 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand it because the night was it 900 odd appearances and won the lot, most successful British player ever. Like, I understand that. Who else are you going for?
Well, if I've got them lot in,
Is that your
next,
three?
next for me be
Oh,
Cantona.
Right, Erik.
I think
I don't
again,
disagree.
defining
the
the most
100%.
recent success, the catalyst for that success,
I agree with that
and
one.
also what a man to make a statue of. It's
Yeah.
gonna look fucking fantastic as well, and it should be just 600 feet tall. But yeah, it's just gonna be a perfect statue.
Erik, can't argue that one. Did you say Robbo?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Duncan Edwards, and I know I was saying like, oh, well, would you not have all the others? But I feel like Duncan Edwards.
Well, he hit a peak the rest didn't really.
He
Second
was
in the
he was
Ballon
the
d'Or
one,
at 19 or
yeah,
something.
regarded
As
as
a defender.
one of the greatest.
Think about this. Do you know how fucking good you must have been for motherfuckers in Hungary to be voting for you when there's no telly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know how fucking good you need to be as a defender
yeah.
at 19 when there's no telly to get votes in a Ballon d'Or?
And there's been like 3 defenders ever win the Ballon
Yeah.
d'Or.
Yeah.
And he
It's
came second as a
incredibly
kid.
hard to get
mate,
anywhere
that's
near
so
it.
yeah, that's unreal. Yeah, I'd have Duncan Edwards. I think as another one. That'd be my second
Yeah.
one. You've got Robbo and Giggs. Who's your third?
Who was him that got done for match fixing back in the day?
We all get a silly one.
Billy Meredith.
Billy Merritt. Yeah, nice.
If you're not
Billy
cheating, you're not
Meredith.
fucking trying. And that's the caption underneath it. No.
No, because he played for City as well. We can't keep having players that have played for both.
Yeah. Luckily, I've
Well, half of our statues have.
I know, that's what I mean. We've got to draw a line on this somewhere.
Literally half, because 2 of Dennis Laws have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Busby
We're
has.
not having Billy Meredith as well.
It's weird because Cristiano Ronaldo, by the criteria that we've already established, i.e. win a Ballon d'Or at the club, should be next.
Yeah.
But I ain't feeling it.
No.
Okay.
I think when there's another club that player is a bigger legend for,
Yeah.
you can't have a statue of him. Ronaldo is a bigger Real Madrid legend than he is Man United. We can't be putting a statue of him out. I would say they have to be
I tend to agree.
synonymous
but
with
Ballon
your
d'Or,
club.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think Ronaldo is for a lot of people.
But
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think the criteria we've established, or the club has established, he has to be a consideration. And for a lot of people, he'll get in. And then I think you've got to be looking at likes of Wayne Rooney next.
yeah,
Rooney's the one who I was going to go for if you didn't go for him. But you have done. So,
And then Wes Brown.
yeah, West Brown's a big sound.
What?
I don't know, man. It's difficult because there's a couple that I think, but you might think it's mad.
Just start ringing names out.
Solskjaer.
Solskjaer's one.
I mean, you can make the case. You can make the case. Just and have him in the pose of 99.
Yeah.
I think Michael Carrick's an outside shout.
The problem is
Yeah.
he will. Like the people are going to argue with you in the comments and say that's fucking ridiculous.
But I've already
the-
said Keno and Robbo, and you
Yeah.
said Wayne Rooney and
But
Ryan
the
Giggs.
longevity,
and
the longevity, what he
Cristiano
fucking
Ronaldo.
won.
That's why I'm
his
coming
conduct
from.
while he was here.
Yeah.
Why not?
Do you know what I
The
mean?
number of games he played. Why not? Like literally the criteria that other clubs have, he would be in already.
How
course
far
he
off
would.
is your mate then? Rio.
He's probably in the mix. He was second greatest defender we ever saw.
Yeah.
Does he go in over Stam for longevity? He was 10 years at the club.
Yeah, he got him. He's got him. He won so much
11
more
years
at
at the
United.
club.
He won so much more.
Yeah, but do you have him and Vidic as a pair? Because everyone always you
Yeah.
can't really say one without the other.
I feel-
It's like having a statue of fucking
If
Ant
you've
McPartland
not
without his mate,
if
innit?
you've not mentioned him then as one, and I've got confused because you haven't, I would be tempted to put Styles in there.
You did mention that earlier.
But
didn't you?
yeah.
But you
Yeah,
did
and
put it as
also
one
Bill
of your
Foulkes.
picks.
Bill
Yeah.
Foulkes as
Harry
well.
Gregg. How do you not have one for Harry
Harry
Gregg?
Gregg, the hero of Munich.
Yeah,
How do you not have a single
Like,
one of
you
them?
can't.
Literally, it'll look like a queue for a new chippy.
yeah. It'd be unbelievable.
It would be unbelievable. It would be your third one or your
I mean,
eighth one,
we've
whatever.
we've covered like almost all the sort of big obvious names there.
What about Lou Macari and that?
Yeah,
He's a
it's
cult
a
hero
sort of a
born
bit
now,
of a
I feel
lost
like.
era though, as far as my knowledge of United.
People like there's some people argue till the blue in the face like Martin Buchan deserves one.
Yeah, Martin Buchan.
Webby will
Yeah.
tell you fucking Remy Moses deserves one.
And he'd be right.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That I'm thinking the era I saw,
Lee Martin.
maybe Schmeichel. You could see Schmeichel.
Yeah, I could.
Do you know what I mean?
Doing a cartwheel.
Yeah.
I could see it getting defaced.
Maybe put it in like a maybe put it in like
Jabin
a
here
cool
again.
spot.
Fucking look at it. Why has he got a blue moustache?
Why is it covered in paint? No.
Yeah, why is it someone put a City shirt?
Reebok.
I thought we said we weren't having any more City players. We agreed on that, did we not?
Yeah, he's a bigger City legend.
what I mean?
Right, how far off is Andy Cole?
Good shout. I knew you was thinking the same thing I was thinking when I thought to say. This is the thing though, any other club, if Andy Cole had stayed at Arsenal and won what he won at United, they'd have a statue of him.
Or Newcastle.
Yeah. He won far more than Bobby Robson did.
Have they got one for Shearer?
No, you haven't got a statue of Shearer, have you? Or have you? Oh, do you?
Have
you got Bobby Robson and Shearer and who else?
Fatino Asprilla. You know
was that it?
Nobby Solano.
Yeah.
Nobby Solano.
He was classic.
Timo Ketspire.
Lauren Robert. Right, I think we could talk about this all day and get your thoughts in the comments. Have we missed anyone? Who would you have as a statue of Manchester
Just think
United?
of some of the fucking mad players we've had that are never going to get a sniff. Dennis Irwin.
Teddy Sheringham should be a shout.
I'm going to roll back because you just ignored me. Dennis
Right.
Irwin.
He said Irwin, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Irwin, not going to get one.
Yeah.
Patrice Evra, not going to get one.
Yeah.
Like
Steve Bruce.
Some of these
Bob Hollins.
Exactly,
Mate.
but you know
Why don't hey, why don't we put Aguero on there? I love Paulins, by the way.
United could have.
Do you know what I love about
I did
Paulins?
till about
Did you ever
95.
see him talking about the Bergkamp statue? He's Ace Paulins, isn't it? He was on BT or
No,
whatever.
he's a fucking knob.
But listen, he goes, statue of Bergkamp. I don't know, where's the statue of Henry? Where's the statue of Tony Adams?
just there, mate. You're looking at him.
Actually, if you step to the side, like a Tony, they're all in a line.
They're all behind this. I love that.
Oh, whichever way round he did it.
Do you know
It
the
was
funniest
like,
thing I
he named
heard
the
him
ones that were
say?
already there.
It was his son play for Blackpool or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, Thomas,
Tom, and it was like, he said his son was trying to have him off, and he was like, Dad, I was a fucking better player than you. And I think he's like, fuck off. He goes, I played for fucking Liverpool, Man U, and Inter Milan, you little dick. I was like,
He is
Wow,
right.
1-0
confidence building.
Right, we could talk about this all day, but let us know in the comments who United should have as a statue, or is it enough? Have we got it right? Should we,
I feel like you
what
like
I
what
mean?
you were saying. It's hard to leave people out.
Yeah.
Because then you go, well, look what he did, look what they achieved, look what they went through, look at the.
even Erik. Erik seems to be like top 5. Everyone you speak to is going to say Erik.
Yeah.
He won less titles, or the same titles, as fucking Anderson.
I know. Mental.
Yeah.
Where's Anderson's?
Yeah.
Outside birdcage where it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Bosh, now we've started.
Now we've started. That's going to be all from us. Thank you to Green King Sport for sponsoring the show. Make sure you go and check them out. The link is in the description, as we said before. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for watching at home. And we'll see you in a bit.